Hey guys, we're in Markham, Ontario, Canada. First time outside the US filming with you guys to show you Rapido Trains Incorporated. Behind the scenes.
What the heck are you doing here?
Hey, Jason Schrock.
Hi, how are you?
CEO, president, owner.
This is a total surprise. I had no idea you were going to be here today.
I just drop in on people.
You know, I have a meeting with the Executive Vice President of Canada. I'm going to have to kick him out. Hang on a second. You got to go. He's gone.
All right, sweet. Kicked him out the back door just for me. That's how important I am. So we're gonna go with Jason inside so you can see behind the scenes in the offices. We'll catch a little bit of a meeting that they do weekly and some other cool stuff starting right now.
Let's go. So this is our customer lounge. So people come in and they have a model to be fixed or something like that. They come and sit here, and this is the wall to keep them out. All right. This is the blue door. The blue door is closed. Okay, and the old. It's actually a real door from the coach. Hang on, I got the other half of it here. That's cool. Look at this. This is.
Nice.
This is amazing. This is actually spare parts from the train that is in my basement.
Wow.
But people would come into our old office and they'd walk right in and we had no separation. And we're having a product development meeting and suddenly these dudes walk in and sit down and join our meeting. It's like, who are you? Why are you in our meeting? And they were there. So, okay, meeting's over.
Right? You know, all the secrets are out.
Yeah, so now we have very comfy seats. Tables, we even made it look up like a train. You know, it's got the radiator covers there, you know, so it's just like a real train.
These are CN seats, right?
These were built by Mount Royal Montreal for CN. These were built by Haywood Wakefield and Aurelia for CN, and both built 1954.
Oh.
And then they were refurbished by Via Rail Canada, and then refurbished again by us because these were in really bad shape. I found this in some guy's backyard in Winnipeg, been outside for 10 years, and they're beautifully refurbished. You know, so that was done in my garage.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a nice place.
So are you gonna let us behind the door?
You know what? Because I just got rid of the Executive Vice President of Canada, he had to leave, you can come in.
Okay, thanks.
Okay? Come on in. Hey, this is Jordan. Jordan is our dude at the front.
James, right, nice to meet you.
And Jordan helps customers with any issues that they have. He responds to emails. He's got a little like glass ticket window there, and people do come in and try to buy tickets. Okay, this is true. It does. We have a big train outside, and they come to buy train tickets, and it's a little bit awkward when Jordan says we have no train tickets to sell. We'll sell you a $349 model train, but we can't give you a train ticket to Montreal.
No,
yeah, so
we have to rename it to Rapido Model Trains Only Do Not Buy Tickets Inc.
Janet, who's just gone to the bank now, she's over here. Does all the money for the company. Make sure we get paid. That's very important. You have to get paid.
Awesome.
This is a shower.
Wow.
All right.
Marble.
Like,
at least well, it looks
very
like
fancy. No, it looks like marble. It's not marble. No, but we have a couple of guys like to bike in, especially Dan Garcia, our my right hand man. And after he bikes in, I don't want him coming near me unless he's had the shower. Okay, so when we had the new place built, we had a shower put in. This is the kitchen. We have the, this is an important Rapido kitchen, okay? That is the kosher half of the Rapido kitchen. That is the regular food half of the Rapido kitchen. And notice, because I'm the president, the kosher food half is bigger.
This is where you cook up all the models in the microwave.
That's what we do, yeah, it's the microwave test for models. Yeah. So over here, we've got, this is when Bill Schneider comes in. He comes and sits over here to work. We do a lot of product development in here. Okay, so this is Dan Darnell's office. Let's see if he's in. All right. Dan and I are getting our bus license.
So I'm studying for my bus.
So he's studying for his bus. When are you doing the written test?
I don't know yet.
So just to clear up any
you have to learn the whole thing.
Just to clear up any confusion, you guys actually bought the bus, right?
We bought a real bus. Right. And now we want to play with it, right? So we're each getting our bus. I did my air brakes last week. 2 full days of air brakes.
Jeez.
Okay, but I have a little Z or Z on my license that now says I can drive a car with air brakes. I've got the bus license.
This isn't the Magic School Bus, like the kids' Magic School Bus.
No.
Cartoon fame, is it?
49-year-old, 40-foot long transit bus. This is our warehouse. This is where we program ESU decoders.
Oh, cool.
That's one of our barbecues. That's very important. We don't actually light it in here, but you have to have a barbecue for when people come by and you want to barbecue, right? All model train manufacturers need a barbecue.
All right.
Okay, so this is our shipping table over here where stuff is packed up. That is Thomas, who is repairing a model as we speak. Come have a look at Thomas here. Say hi, Thomas.
Hi.
So this is his workshop where Thomas does customer repairs. He's pretty awesome. He's a master at doing. I think he's saving an FP9 locomotive that the customer killed with cat hair.
It looks like it was, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
awesome.
into the rewiring stage right now.
Oh, very good. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He can do that stuff. This is the warehouse. If you look through the warehouse, you notice like a lot of it's empty space because we get in shipments of like 8 pallets. Is there a train coming?
No, it's gonna be long.
We got like 8 pallets come in, and we have to fill the space and we unload them and stuff, right? So you need a lot of space because they come in like that. The guys are not happy that I keep on filling up with train parts. So we have the generator for our sleeping car. We have seats for our RDC, and we have a compressor for our RDC over there. That's really heavy. It's really heavy. And there's train seats everywhere. This is Dan's spray booth, and right now it's got train seat storage. So every time he has to paint a model, he has to cart out the train seats.
We're the only manufacturer right now that has train seats of any kind.
Oh, but this is even cooler. Hang on, come back here. Whew. All right, that is CN's York subdivision. Okay, and at some point, hopefully, we'll get it. The train will go by while you're here. Busy days, every half an hour, 45 minutes, we have another mile-long freight comes through.
Nice.
Yeah, it's this is the trunk line, one of the busiest lines in Canada. Our inventory is actually very small.
Right.
So our N-scale inventory, that's it. What you see there is all of our N-scale inventory. HO inventory is our paint here. This is our HO inventory, and we're talking about a handful of models. There's very little inventory here. So and the inventory generally comes, we make a few extras just to have for warranty purposes, and sometimes people pass away or stores close, so we end up having that. So you walking home with that? We got another one's got to be frisked on the way out. Yeah. Metro North FL9. We have a few of these left over. Okay, so this is our warranty stuff. So we have like after we're fixing shells or whatever, and we have a supply of extra shells that we use for that. We have a very small test track. We need to improve that at some point. We have N-scale and HO test tracks. We also have quite tight curves. We're rigorous with different DCC systems, DC, and this, I love this. This is my university computer from almost 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And if we want to print decals, here's my 20-year-old Alps.
Nice.
And my 20-year-old computer, and they're connected together. And we actually, you see Dan now has to save his file format in a 20-year-old format so he can open it up on here, right? And print out decals. Like we're so high tech here. Anyway, so we also have here all of our cool T-shirts. So
Like the one you're wearing?
like the one I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know why that people don't want to admit the fact. But come on, all right. If you're a model railroader, you're a nerd, okay? I'm sorry, we're nerds. We're all nerds, and nerds own the world, okay? Think about, it's nerds. Bill Gates is a nerd, okay? So I think that we should all wear our 100% nerd t-shirt, all right? And show the world that we're proud to be different and nerdy. All right, so, and this is officially our worst selling product ever. We've sold 7. Okay, I made 200, we've sold 7 of these t-shirts. I don't know. Come out of the closet, guys. Admit our nerdiness and be proud. We're the nerd. We're the nerd.
Yeah.
So this office belongs to our late Mike McGrattan, who was a core member of our team. We'll probably be hiring somebody new in the fall who can take over this, but bittersweet in here. You know, he was an amazing man.
Yeah, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it's you know what, it's life, right?
Yeah.
It happens. And then here's my office.
We're going to pick up fares.
Be an Uber bus.
This is the Rapido head honcho, the Big Cheese office. As you can see, it's
Sorry,
like
we can have our meeting.
sure. We have these are all 1970s first class seats from CN and Via Rail. They sort of have that Mork from Orc look to them, you know. I mean, it's like it's this very 70s. I love it. And so I went with a purple wall to match the purple seats. I actually took some upholstery to get it matched, right? But my office is not the biggest office in the building because I don't need the biggest office in the building. I'm not that kind of, and I also have no windows, but that's cool. I'm good with that. I don't want windows. Windows bring in the outside, and I'm a Monteverde. I prefer to spend time in my basement, so you know this office is good. Yeah, that I painted that when I was 19.
Wow.
You know, and we were it was in painting class at art school, and we had to do a still life, and she kept on telling me your still life, like it's too controlled. It'd be freer. So I took what was left on my palette and I painted an SPA for her. She comes up to me and she says, "That's what I'm looking for. That's amazing." At which point the girl beside me says, "It's a train." Oh, I have to stay extra and redo the still life. You know, but the still life I've forgotten about. That I still have.
Huh.
Right, so that's fun. It's fun. Yeah, if you want to here, check this out. These are my Route Master and RT 124th double-decker buses. I love double-decker buses. I want a double-decker bus, but they're expensive and they smash into things, so I can't get one. But behind them is the flux capacitor, so my office actually travels through time. All right, this is important to know. I think that's important to be a model train manufacturer. Your office needs to travel through time. But it doesn't really need to, because check this out. This is not just pretend. This is my actual desk phone. It's a Northern Telecom 1940s rotary dial phone. And it's wired into our phone system, right? And it makes a heck of a noise. And I can't, if I call somebody and it says press 1 or press, I have to hang up because I can't press. No, it really is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So this is the fun stuff. You know, everyone needs to have a Mr. Spock business card holder. All right, this is important stuff to have in your office. Is a Mr. Spock. If you want to take the turbo to Montreal, Toronto, you know, it's good. This is more important stuff to have in your office that you can go in luxury, elegance, and comfort. Right? Oh, hang on. And this is awesome. This is my bat left letter opener. Okay, going well with the nerd. All right, is that I can open letters with a Klingon destructive device, and it really sort of does what it says on the tin because it doesn't actually open letters; it shreds them. I've tried, and it destroys the letters. Right? Isn't that cool? This is the stuff that you need when you're a model train manufacturer. There we go.
So like I said, there's 2 Canadian staples that stick out in my mind. I've only been in the hobby for 7 years, something like that. I don't know. Jason Tron, Lionel Strang. Lionel Strang,
Uh-oh.
like we talked about at the train show, now runs a podcast called A Modeler's Life.
Exactly.
So be sure to check that out.
And James was on it, and Jason's going to be on it. We're gonna
With pleasure.
We're going to twist his arm.
And for years, the conference room, right, Jason?
This is the boardroom, so we have a meeting. You'll be part of our meeting, one of our meetings. Okay, in case people were wondering that we're going bus crazy, we are going bus crazy. All right, check this out. We commissioned an original painting of a Toronto bus in the 1970s and 80s by a Toronto artist, and we're going to be selling these limited edition prints of the bus. And one thing I love about buses is that they're all about building community, and so not just Toronto, but all the other different transit agencies we do for our bus models. It's all about building community. So we're doing this to try and get out into the broader community, you know, with a gorgeous painting. Amazing. All right, got to give you guys some background here, right? This was Yonge Street near Dundas back 25, 30 years ago, and these were the 2 big record stores side by side which competed with each other. And anyone of a certain age, like if you were born in the 60s or 70s...
What are you saying, Jason?
Your memory of being young was going to that stretch of Yonge Street and riding buses like that one. And you know, nostalgia has kind of been owned by old people for a long time, and now that we're getting old, we're gonna take over. So we're just like, this is like 1979 nostalgia, okay? This is remembering the good old days, right? So the good old days is not just the transition era, the 50s and whatever.
I'm an old guy now.
You're extremely
Yeah,
old.
yeah, exactly.
If you're a fossil.
You bring up the average age in this room by like 30 years.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He's the fossil. He's the ignorant.
So a lot of the decisions in Rapido happen in this room, and a lot of them. So we'll have a meeting here every couple of days, and we'll go over all the projects and make decisions of new projects. And everyone in their own office, whether it's Dan or me or Bill, whatever, we actually work on the hard design where we do research and we design models. We work with the team in China, and the other side of it obviously is the team in China. I'm going to China in a few weeks. The second time in 4 months. You know, sometimes you have to do it because we're expanding to a new facility. So that's like where the decision making happens. And there's no, Rapido is not about having some fancy, there's no fancy boardroom with spread. I mean, I feel like we have Chinese paintings on the wall. I got those in China last time I was there. But it's not like a bunch of suits going, you know, deciding what's going to be profitable. It really is, we sit down here, what do you want to make? And Dan will propose, like he actually, the bus came from him, and that we've run with the bus because I'm a bus foamer. But you know, there are other models that Jordan keeps on trying to get us to do the Roar Turbo Liner, and my response to Jordan, as much as I know you love that train, my response to Jordan is, because it's of its limited geographical reach and a limited era, a 20-year lifespan, mainly in the Empire Corridor, because of that, I don't know if we'll sell necessarily 3,000 trains. Now, if you want to buy 2,500 of them, you know,
Probably
we can definitely hit 500.
Probably handle
okay?
it,
But-
That being said, everybody please send Jason an email. Tell him to bring your RTL Turbo Liner, please.
You know, so
Because I
we
need
literally sit around. We've got lots of books here where we'll grab out, you know, I'm
That
just gonna-
only doesn't kill him.
That's right. You know, so some of the general books. Here we go. So you know, we had some of the Streamliners books out the other day, and we're looking at, are there any Streamliners that we can do that haven't been done yet? We'll literally go through picture books. You know, this is a Canadian example of freight trains, and say, look, what locomotives haven't we done, etc. So we'll sit around and have a discussion about it, and then I will generally, on my computer, I can figure out, I estimate what the sales will be, I estimate what the cost will be, and I'm usually within 10%, and I can say, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, we won't sell enough of that. I know you all want to have that really rare
He's
SP
the
engine
bad
with like
guy.
10 trucks on it, right? But we won't sell enough of them to cover the high development costs, right? So it's very much a very laid back and in a way democratic, with like the dictator at the top, right? So Democrat till it gets to me, and then I say if something's gonna work or not. If someone makes a convincing case and shows that something will sell, or they think it will, and I agree with them, then I'll give it a shot, right? We'll start, and then we have to look at it. Is somebody else making it? Is it gonna be easy to do research and development, or do no drawings exist, right? I mean, and again, the big question is, are people gonna actually want it? So the manufacturer X made a model of this locomotive 10 years ago. We had this with the FA2, right? So there's been FA2 models made before. Is it worth doing another FA2, even though the models done before have not been museum quality? And sometimes it's worth it. It was worth it with the FA2 because we'd already tooled up so much for our FPA4. So it was worth it. But for another locomotive, I said, like, you know, the guys were asking about C424, and I said, yeah, there's room for another model of the C424. At this point, I don't think we'd do well bringing out a competing model with the existing model. Even if it's more detailed, my gut's telling me we wouldn't get the sales we need. Maybe in 5 years from now, we would, right? So it's really just a discussion. There's no magic formula. There's no, you know, and it's not decided by a bunch of, like, this. People think that they see model train manufacturers as like the towers of office buildings downtown. It's not like that. We're in the suburbs. Our office is blue and yellow, looking like a Via train.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go around quickly and hear what everyone's working on. Thomas?
One particularly nasty FP9.
Okay.
I have never seen so much hair in a gearbox.
Oh.
Ew.
I did wash my hands.
Okay.
It's fun.
So you ran it on the floor.
Was it hair?
You probably
from-
ran it on
someone's
Bachman
head,
track on
or-
the floor, and it got
Oh.
cat hair and stuff into it.
Yeah, and then of course all the wiring got toasted.
You know, we don't make our models cat hair proof. I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing we can do about that one, unfortunately.
Okay.
I do try.
Yeah, don't you have 7?
Yes.
If I come to your house, I'll die.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It almost did.
That wasn't the cat, that was the dog.
Well, that's because the dog ate your face. Are you going to have time to work with Jordan on packaging up parts, or labeling parts? Because you've still got parts left to label, correct?
Most of it's done.
Most of the parts are labeled.
Everything, all the parts that are ready to go have at least, I would say, there's at least 75 to 100 of each pre-labeled, ready to go.
Okay, we need a sales sheet for the parts. Okay, because we got to send it out to distributors so they know that the parts are coming.
But
Okay.
yes, actually,
All
that's
right.
the question. Yeah, I can specify.
Okay, that's good. Janet, the usual business.
Mm-hmm. What happens with the dealer event that we're working on in the States?
Yes, we have to talk to Matt. Hang on.
And
Talk to Matt and Bill.
Bill, has
about
there
the
been
dealer
any?
event.
I actually talked to Matt, I think, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and he was trying to get a definite answer out of the head office.
What about are we gonna do it with or without him?
No, I think we need to do it with him.
So if he says he can't do it for whatever reason.
I suspect he'll be able to. What the issue may be is it's now July 11th, and we're talking about September 15th. I think that's probably too
over,
soon.
guys.
All right. Okay, Bill, we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Bill.
guys.
Okay, bye.
Here in the boardroom, we were also talking about the proto paint that's about to come out from Rapido Trains. It's an acrylic model railroad paint, so lots of different colors, and pretty cheap price, $7.95 in the U.S., $8.95 in Canada. 60 different Canadian and American colors. So Jason, you transported me somewhere blindfolded. Where exactly are
Yes, we are in my basement.
we? Oh, okay.
Yes, come for a walk.
Oh,
This way.
excellent. Wait a minute, this looks like a train station.
That's right. This is my Doctor Who collection. My shrine.
Doctor Who fans?
Yes.
I've heard from a few of them with my little H.O. scale TARDIS.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Here's the train in the basement.
Wow. Number 6203.
That's actually the train number. The car number is 5647. Come on. So, please meet arriving passengers in this area in English and French. We are bilingual here in this foreign country.
I saw a movie in English. I was happy it was not French.
So here's the vestibule. There's a photograph of the next car. This is the handbrake. Come on. Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful. And then here's the car itself. Oh my God, it's Lionel Strang. How did you get here? This is so cool.
Did you guys come on the moving train? Or did we stop in Belleville?
They say when in Canada, Lionel String.
Exactly. So we're on our way to Kingston.
Well, I'm going to Montreal. I'm
Yeah.
going all the way, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I see you picked up a homeless person somewhere.
This is the best way to travel to Montreal. Done it many
And
times.
this is Coach.
And this is
It
Coach.
took me about 4.5 years to build this, and so it looks like real Coach. This is steel and a real Coach. These are original doors from the electrical locker. This is plywood. This is a PVC pipe that I ripped on my table saw to get the corner, and this is MacTac, which is made to look like the cover that was used back in 1980 or so. And a lot of it's real. We actually bought a real Coach that was going to be scrapped, paid almost nothing for it, and took all the parts out. So this is an original Via Rail Coach luggage rack, right? And these are original seats, and this is my home away. It's a way that I can just chill out and relax and be on the train whenever I want. And my home office is right here. This seat is my home office. And I pull down, put my cup of tea or glass of whiskey, depending on what time of day it is. Goes over here. I sit over here, and I work on my laptop, and it's just amazing.
How many products have been invented in this room? Or
Well,
thought of to make, not
Lots
invented
of
really, but
products, and
Yeah.
when Bill comes from Connecticut, he stays in the basement, and then he uses this as his lounge, and I'll find him with his laptop working, at any time. And he says it's true. It's a real. It really builds creativity being here. Like you're in a train environment. I don't know if your viewers can probably hear that there's train soundtrack. So we've actually got one soundtrack inside. There's one MP3 player. There's another MP3 player up here, just for the blower fan, because the real one has a blower fan up here. So there's another MP3 player up here, and then there's another MP3 player. Hey Dan, if you can hear the squeaks of the vestibule, so there's another MP3 player up in the vestibule, right? So it's really about creating the atmosphere, and then that's a photo mural of the next car, right? So you think it's like if you're looking this way as opposed to against the blank brown wall, you feel like you're on the train. Yeah,
Absolutely.
On the real train, there's a bathroom here, so I have my record collection here instead, and this is where all the sounds come from. I got two of the MP3 players are here, and I got my LP collection. I got some cool stuff here. This is a Canada-only Beatles album, and then it's a Canada-only Beatles album. So I've been collecting records since I was a kid, so lots of records.
Very cool.
And once in a while, I actually do turn off the sound system and play records through the sound system, which is neat. All these different little details. Check this out. This is a no spitting notice. Okay, now technically it should be over there where the record collection is, but every VNCN passenger car in the old days by law had to show a no spitting notice in the car, in the bathroom. Now you can't spit. Can't gamble either. I once had my poker chips taken away on the train because we were just playing for fun, but I had some chips, and he said, nope.
Huh.
Yeah, so then I took out my guitar, and I was told, nope. I was a teenager, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No guitar playing, no
And
gambling.
then I've gone hardcore, so I actually had 1980 vintage cardboard trains printed. So they have, just like you get, and I've got snack packs, which also used for litter, for when you buy them, and these are our 1980 litter bags.
Nice.
So you can't get these in quantity, right? So it's just neat to be able to recreate all that stuff. And this is all my collection of Via blankets. If you ever get cold down here, you have Via rail blankets from the 80s and 90s.
This is awesome, Jason.
Thank you. It's fun. It's fun to be down here.
Yeah. It's different to think about how much work had to go into this and how many people, probably less than a dozen, at least in North America, that have done anything remotely like this.
Well, there's Dr. Muff. He's in the States somewhere. He did something similar. There's a guy who built a 747 first class lounge in his garage. So, I mean, I respect that, right? And I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid. So I've actually got a letter from Via Rail Canada from when I was 12. I wrote to them and said, can you send me your seats from your old trains? And they wrote back saying, we need the seats, right? They wouldn't send any to us. Because I've been planning this since I was 12. And so when we were looking for houses, really funny, we're looking at all these different houses, and you talk to this is almost 10 years ago, the real estate agent. I said, I want a basement. That's most important for me, for model railroad and for the train. So, one house after house. The first one had a beautifully refinished basement. I said, I have to definish this basement. Okay, and then the next house had a really big basement, but the ceilings were like this. I said, I can't do this. She says to me, I have a house for you, right? And she sends the door upstairs, and she says, come downstairs. And I look up, and there's 9-foot ceilings in the basement. And I said, this is it! I'm gonna build my train here, this is it! Right, so it determined the house, and we bought it that day. We bought it. We're still paying the bank for it for the rest of my life. But anyway, so and then I started working on this, and it's keeping that idea. If you're building something, whether it's your layout, whether it's a crew lounge like this or whatever else, I had to keep that vision in my head the whole time of what it was going to look like. Because if you lose that, you got 4.5 years. It was plywood and mess and wires for so long, right? It didn't start looking like a finished train until 3.5 years into construction. So you have to keep that vision in your head. And every time you get frustrated where something's not working, you can't find the parts you need or whatever, or you're building your layout and you're stuck on track that's not working, whatever, you have to keep in mind that final goal and then go after it. And my wife, what she says is that it's a great teaching tool for the kids because it shows, Daddy wanted something so badly, he kept it in mind. Even when it was hard, even when there were setbacks, he kept it in his mind. And I think it's a real message that other people building things like this, whether it's this or whether it's their 747 first class lounge or whether it's the model railroad, that they have to keep at it. Don't give up. And this is the key thing. The outside wall, come over here. Walk past Danny, twice stand right here. Okay, so this wall, it looks like metal. It's actually plywood and MDF, all right? Just lots of paint on it, lots of body filler. But I built the whole thing, I painted it, put the stripes on, and I didn't support it well enough, and it all warped. It was awful. Like, we're talking about major warping, okay? It was disgusting. And it just wasn't good, and I had to pull the whole thing out, and I had to put a new skin of plywood on, and I had to, which meant cutting down the joist, putting the plywood on, putting the MDF on that, all the new Bondo, everything. I had to start from scratch. And you can imagine, like, I didn't want to come down here, right? Because I'd screwed up, and I had to redo all the work. It was worth it. Look at it now, right? So it took me 2 weeks of hard work I took actually one of the weeks off work so I could get plow through it, and it's done, right? So you got to keep at it. That's it.
So here we are in Jason Schron's basement, and just like any model, Jason, why are you taller than me?
It's via steps. Yeah, come on, it's
Oh.
right for you too.
Okay.
Okay. You
There
should
we go.
always have these in your living room.
Now that mystery's solved, like I was saying, we're in Jason Schron's basement, and just like any avid model railroader, he's building a layout. And I'm already jealous because it's permanent versus mine, which is modular, and I can't stop moving.
I can never sell my house.
True.
My house is worth $7.37.
You can
Because
sell
there
it.
used to be a garage there, and now it's the layout.
You can sell it to Lionel String.
There you go, Lionel. You can buy my house.
But anyway, so here we are, and you are obviously in the process of building a layout.
Yes, 3 years in, but obviously I'm very busy with running the business and with a young family, so I don't get a lot of time down here.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-deck layout of the Kingston subdivision, which is between Toronto and Quebec. The bottom deck is downtown Toronto, the middle deck is eastern Toronto, and then the upper deck is eastern Ontario, and that's where we're working right now. If you want to have a look at that, Abby, we got the turbo there over in Kingston Mills, sitting on what's going to be a nice big bridge over some waterfalls. And then you come around over here, we've got our test train to make sure that everything works well.
What's up with all this Rapido stuff?
You know what? It's like the stuff runs like garbage. Who makes this stuff? I'm telling you. Anyway, so there's a test train, and I use my old Lifelike P unit there, the FPV4 that I kit bashed a long time ago, to pull it around, just make sure that the track is okay. So this is all the track in Brockville that's going in now, working from the top down. And if you look here, so my track over here is mostly Pico Code 83, which I'm in love with. And if you look here, I've got foam. This is like neoprene, and on top of that is cork, and that's to kill sound. We actually just made, here you go, we actually just made we're making this noise killer road bed, which is this neoprene shaped in a road bed profile. But because I have plywood and it's not an even surface, I have to be able to sand it, so that's why I went with cork. But I still kept that sound deadening feature of the neoprene. And the room here, let me tell you something. Most important thing is that you're going to see everything here is plywood. Okay, folks at home, if you're building a layout, you're starting a new one. If you've already built one, fine. But if you're building a new one, don't use dimensional lumber. Plywood is much more stable. You should not use dimensional lumber for anything except layout legs. Everything else should be plywood because it doesn't warp and twist the way that 1x3s and 1x4s do. Okay, so it's all plywood. The other thing is this room, I invested money at the beginning to insulate it. It is the most insulated room in the house. Okay, so this room is fully climate controlled. It's got air conditioning, it's got heating, and the difference in humidity and temperature is less than 10% over the course of the year. It means I'm able to solder most of my rail joints, and there's no worry about kinks.
So now we are standing actually behind something that is taller than me, and that's the helix here.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. Can you tell us about this?
Okay, so this helix is made of 2 layers of Baltic birch. I think it was Tim Horton, who's a very, very well-known modeler in British Columbia, who designed this idea of having like a shallow trough for your helix. So you have 1 layer at the bottom and then 2 outer layers on top, and then foam in the middle. So, he has a great idea. So I sort of expanded it to HO scale, and I've got a double track helix, 36 and 38.25 inch radius. And this connects because it's a triple deck layout plus a top deck up here for east staging. It's a reliable way to connect it. Because I've got so little warping due to climate, all I've got is about 6 or 8 supports, like 6 supports, and I'll be putting dowels in here just to stop it from wiggling while the trains go over it. But it's minimal amount of supports, and it's really, really rock solid and reliable. It took us, I had 3 guys helping me. 2 guys, and 2 of us did all the assembly, and then 4 of us in 1 day lifted the whole thing.
Well, Jason, thanks for the in-depth look at both Rapido Trains and the invitation to bring me into your home and show me this amazing train in your basement.
My pleasure.
I don't know of anybody that wants me in their home other than you. So thanks for that. Thanks for the awesome time up here. The very first time I've seen Canada, even though I've been all over the world.
And oh no, this is what he thinks Canada's like.
Well, thanks officially. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I know my viewers, myself, and pretty much all the modelers appreciate the passion you put into Rapido Trains. Some of the most rock solid models out there in the industry.
Thank you. We're all obsessed with trains here at Rapido.
Yeah, and I think now, well, we're pretty much done. Nap time?
Nap time.
Tickets.
over there?
Uh-huh.
So that F7 cab, we actually measured the windows in order to, for the RFP9, same window shape. And a contour gauge. It was minus 20 when we did it.
Wow.
Here's 1613 Northern, 484 Northern. Restoration's coming along.
You volunteer a lot of your time here?
I used to, but now I got kids,
Yeah.
so I've got time.
Yeah.
So that's an old vinegar car. I think it's just falling to bits.
Huh.
There's our little Peter Whitand, a little 25 tonner.
Yeah. Full-size crossing gates.
Oh yeah. That wasn't a proper whistle. I gotta teach this guy to whistle properly.
Yeah. Too long's a short and a long.
Yeah, long, long, short, long. Okay, last stop, everybody up. What? No. Hey, notice the number was 666.
I don't think they do that in the U.S. just out of superstition.
I was gonna say 666.
Yeah.
Soul Train's coleslaw.
Yeah, that's.
It's a wall.
Restrictions of the following coaches will model 2847, 2851, 2418, 2426, and 305. If you're in any of those coaches, you need to exit at Markham, please walk the train in the same direction the train is traveling until you reach at least accessibility coach 256. And Danforth will be our first station stop, Danforth.
Feel like a train system.
Yeah.
Everything, I'm charging.
I was wondering where my hometown. Like Simcoe is 30 miles away.
Can you always leave? And they were like, and like the other guy was with.
Hello.
So they were
Hello.
I'll grab the camera here, Jason, because I think for the first time ever, you have somewhat kept my camera person entertained who is not train related at all, because there's art involved and you're just so excited about things, and we're talking about coming out of the closet as nerds. So I think you've entertained Abby here a little bit.
My pleasure, Abby.
And,
You're always welcome.
and the first one to actually do so, because it's very hard to do so. But we're gonna go to Cedar Point, and that'll entertain her for tomorrow.